So Hadoop is kind of a technology where you can install in multiple modes. Okay, so one way is that, okay, standalone mode, okay, other way is pseudo distributed mode and fully distributed mode. Okay, so okay, first of all, before we talk about these modes, okay, first of all, let us understand some basic internals of Java. Okay, so what is okay, so first of all, okay, Hadoop is written in which language, guys? Hadoop is a technology, okay, so and it should be written in some language, right? Hadoop is a software. Software should be written in some language.
Java language.
Okay, so Hadoop is a technology which is built, okay, on Java. Hadoop is a technology. So to write Hadoop code, they used Java. Understand? Understand, guys? Okay. So now, now it means to run Hadoop, definitely Java is required. Without installing Java, you cannot run Hadoop on the particular machine on your machine. Okay, that is mandatory. Okay, Java is mandatory here. Okay, now the question is, now the question is, how a program will be executed in Java. Okay, see now, okay, so when I say Hadoop software, inside Hadoop software, okay, we are calling a name node as a service, right? Name node, data node, okay, then okay, secondary name node, okay, then okay, so all these, what are these actually? What are these? So these are called as Hadoop services. Okay, Hadoop service. When I say Hadoop service, end of the day, okay, if you see, for us it is Hadoop service. Okay, for a developer, Java developer, it's a Java program. Yes or no? Name node is a Java program. Okay, data node is a Java program. Secondary name node is a Java program. Okay, so now starting name node means starting Java node program. Starting data node means starting data node program, and starting secondary name node is starting secondary name node Java program. Okay, that is what, okay, we are doing here. Okay, if you start this Java program, obviously name node will start. If you start this Java program, obviously data node will start. Okay, it works in that way. Okay, so now, okay, how this Java program will execute, guys? Okay, so let's say, let us take this scenario. Okay, let's say this is my RAM. Okay, so now I have RAM. Okay, so I have RAM of 16 GB. Okay, this is my RAM. Okay, in my laptop RAM. Okay, so now tell me, can I use entire RAM? Okay, entire RAM, okay, so now, okay, so when you start your system first, okay, OS will start, correct or not? OS will start. Okay, when you start your laptop, OS will start. How much place, okay, OS will take? Okay, nearly. Okay, so let us take this scenario. Okay, right click on taskbar. Okay, now if you see performance and if you see memory, as of now, okay, it occupied 6 GB. Okay, why it occupied 6 GB? Okay, so because I opened some other programs also. I opened, okay, Windows Explorer. Okay, okay, Chrome I opened Word. Okay, I opened Excel. I opened Zoom. I opened PDF. Okay, I opened, okay, many things actually. So that is the reason. Otherwise, okay, by default, it will take 3 GB of RAM nearly. It means, okay, out of your 16 GB RAM, so this 3 GB, okay, is for OS, operating system. Understand? Okay, so your Windows OS, okay, will be available here. Understand? Windows OS will be using around 3 GB RAM. Okay, so after that, okay, how much is left out now? I have 13 GB space left out. Understand? Guys, okay, please say something. Okay,
Yes, sir.
or okay, if you want
13
me to
GB.
teach, okay, like whatever I want to kind of close it, okay, I can do that also, but I don't want, I want it to be interactive. Okay, yeah, please answer. Okay, okay, so I have total 16 GB laptop. In that, okay, when I start my laptop, okay, first it will load Windows. So Windows will take nearly 3 GB of memory. Okay, so that is the reason. If you see here, okay, it is saying that, okay, so this much RAM is used in use. Okay, this is 6 GB, it is saying. Okay, that's fine now. Okay, but okay, if you just start, okay, your Windows, okay, it will show, okay, nearly 3 GB is in use. Okay, remaining and all free memory. Okay, now what next? What next? Okay, so here the next thing is that, okay, this is the 13 GB memory where you can use for your programs. Understand?
Okay.
Where you
Yeah.
can use for your to run your programs. Okay, now, okay, you are running a program, you are running a Java program. Okay, So okay, so let's say you know C, C++, right? What are these? C, C++?
Programming
Some programming languages. Okay, so C++ are some programming languages. Okay, let's say you have written. Okay, so let's say sample.c. This is the file. Okay, sample program.c. Okay, this is the um, program.c. This is the file C program which you have written. Okay, and you are executing this program. How this will execute? So to execute the program, it requires some RAM or not required?
it required.
It's
Required RAM. Okay, so it means okay. So okay, so is there any RAM? Okay, we say predefined RAM we say for this program. Is there any predefined RAM? Okay, we say for to run this
Compiler.
program. No. Okay, see now. Okay, this is the sample program.c. Okay, now tell me. Okay, how much memory it can use? Is there any limit for this? If I start this program, okay, if in case if this requires 13 GB of memory, okay, to execute the program, it can occupy all 13 GB. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so it means it can occupy all 13 GB. Okay, so now let's say, okay, so he is running sample program 1.c. Okay, so let's say, so Venkata is running sample program 1.c on this machine. Okay, let's say it requires only 3 GB. Okay, now what is left out? Okay, now okay. 10 GB is left out. Okay, maybe some other person who logged into this machine. Okay, multiple people can log into one machine, right? Okay, so let's say he is running okay one more program, okay, which is like sample program 2.c. Okay, so the for his program it requires okay, 6 GB. Okay, 6 GB. Okay, now okay, now one more program Ravi. Okay, is logging in again. Okay, he's logged in. Okay, he's running okay one more program on the same machine. So now let's say he requires let's say 10 GB. Okay, but okay, do we have this much RAM? Okay, here
No.
we don't have that much RAM. Okay, we have only 13 GB available in this laptop. But okay, I am trying to use 19 GB, which is not there. Okay, in this scenario, what will happen? One program, okay. So whichever okay, whichever started first, or okay, whichever what I can say.
First come, first out.
Yeah, first come
whatever.
first. Okay, that one will start acquiring the memory and all. Okay, so it may not allow you to run your programs properly. Okay, so let's say okay during runtime if the memory requirement is increasing, so here there are high chances that all programs may fail. Okay, there is no particular boundary. Okay, we cannot define that. Okay, hey, this is your RAM. In this program, in this RAM only you should run your program. Okay, this is your boundary. In this RAM only you should run your program. There is no fixed boundary in case of C, C++ jobs execution. Okay, but okay, when you are running Java program, okay, so Java is a bit okay wise enough to decide okay the resource requirements actually. Okay, what do you mean of resource requirements? Okay, let's say this is the program. Okay, now if you don't tell how much RAM is required to execute your program, it will take 1 GB RAM. Understand, sir? So it means okay, you're running sample program.java. Okay, .java. If you run this program, how much it will take? If you don't tell what is the size of okay, what is the memory you want to execute program, it will take only 1 GB. Understand? It means okay, it is a boundary it is creating. What is this boundary called actually? Do you have any idea the name of this boundary?
Is it memory wise? Heap memory.
Yeah, exactly. It is not heap memory, sir. It is a JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, Java Virtual Machine is an area, okay, which is decided by Java when you start the program. It means okay. So what Java will do? Java will create a boundary first. Okay, hey, this is my place. Don't take this place. Don't touch this place. It will not allow other programs to touch this place. Okay, so this is the place okay, where it run its program. Understand, this is the place where it run its program. Okay, it will not allow any other. This is not a shared memory, guys. Understand, but in case of C, C++, okay, there won't be any boundaries like this. Okay, everybody will start sharing the memory. So what one fine day, if there is no RAM, okay, all three will collide each other and okay, they will fail. Okay, but in case of Java, okay, they clearly decided the boundary. Okay, suppose okay, now you did not mention, okay, what is the size of RAM you want to execute this program. By default, it will take only 1 GB RAM. Inside 1 GB RAM, it will execute the program. Clear?
Yeah.
Inside 1 GB RAM, it will execute the program. Okay. But okay, if you say I want 5 GB RAM, what will happen?
Actually, that 1 GB is default size for JV
Yes.
for any programming.
Yes. Okay. So now I'm running sample2.java, but okay, this guy clearly explicitly mentioned that, okay, hey, I want 5 GB of RAM. Then what it will do? Maybe it will give 5 GB of RAM like this. Understand? Okay. So this is the place, okay, where, okay, this is the place where, okay, program 1 is running. Okay. And this is the place where it is running. It is again like a JVM of 5 GB. And inside this one, what is running here? Sample2.program is running. Okay. So now during execution of these programs, suppose, okay, if they require during execution of these programs, if they require more memory, let's say, okay, you told, okay, 5 GB, but okay, during the execution of this program, it required more than 5 GB. What will happen? Will it go and take the free memory, or it will fail?
It will take.
With the free memory.
Okay. See, in case of C++, they will take, sir, because they don't have any boundaries like this.
Okay.
Understand? But here in Java, you have a fixed boundary. Okay. You have to tell before starting of your program itself. Okay. I want 5 GB. It will give only 5 GB. Okay. During job execution, if it require more than 5 GB, the JVM will fail. Understand, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. During execution, if your JVM requires more than the specified memory, okay, then okay, it will fail. It will not take the other free memory. Understand? So it will not be having any control on this one. Okay, so it is having control only on its area. So it cannot touch others area, and it cannot take control of others area. Understand? Okay. So in other case also you can think like this actually. Okay. So but this guy told that, okay, so okay, 1 GB JVM, but okay, he used only 700. Sorry. Okay. So this is the boundary, but he used only this one. Okay. So now there is a, let's say, 200 MB free here. Out of 1 GB is using only 800 MB. 1 GB is 200 MB is free. Okay. Can this take this 200 MB? No. Okay. There is no sharing at all. But in case of C++, since these boundaries are not there, okay, if this is taking only 800 MB, this 200 MB will be used by this one. Okay. Tomorrow, if this requires extra space, okay, that extra space is used by this program. So this program is failing. This program also failing. Understood? So that is the problem in C++ programs. But in case of Java programs, okay, you will have a fixed boundary where you can execute your programs. Are you clear on this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, can I execute, okay, multiple JVMs parallelly?
Yes.
Okay. So here, okay,
You
this
can.
is, if I have memory, yes, I can execute, okay, multiple JVMs parallelly. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
If I have memory, yes, I can execute. Okay, see here, I have, okay, total 16 GB RAM. Out of 16 GB RAM, okay, 3 GB Windows is using 3 GB. Okay, now I started, okay, one Java program, okay, which is taking 1 GB. Here, okay, so here, okay, I started, okay, one more Java program, okay, which is taking 5 GB. 5 GB. Okay, so it means, okay, this is running okay, at the same time, this is also running at the same time. Yes or no? But I still have 3 plus 1, okay, 4 plus 9 GB is gone. Okay, I still have 7 GB. Okay, it means, can I run one more program also here?
Yes, sir.
You can run. Okay, who will say no for that? Okay, so you can run. Okay, this is one more JVM. Maybe it means, okay, so you can run multiple programs parallelly. Okay, maybe this is, okay, Java sample program 3. Got it. Maybe again, this is also JVM of, okay, JVM of, okay, let's say 2 GB they have given. Clear? Okay. So like this, okay. So until you have memory, you can run multiple, okay, multiple JVMs in the same machine. Understand? So multiple JVMs in the same machine parallelly. Parallelly means, okay, all together, okay, we are able to run here. Correct or not? Correct or not? Or any questions?
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. So now, okay, let us take the same scenario, guys. Okay. Let us take the same scenario. Okay. Okay. Here, okay, we told that, okay, so name node, data node, and secondary name node also JVMs, right? See, end of the day, they are Java programs. Correct or not? So end of the day, name node, data node, okay, secondary name node are the Java programs. Okay. Now, okay. Now when I start name node, okay, so then, okay, it will be like, okay, name node JVM. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When I start data node, okay, it will be like a data node JVM. Okay. When I start secondary name node, it is like a name node JVM. Yes or no? Okay. So these are all kind of like a JVMs. These are all kind of a JVMs. Okay. Every program, okay, every service, okay, name node, data node, okay, secondary name node, all are Java programs. When you start name node, okay, so it will occupy some memory, and okay, it will play, okay, it will run your name node program inside that only. In the same way, your data node program will run inside this boundary only. Your secondary name node program will run inside this boundary only. Understand, guys? Are any questions? Okay. So here, if you see this picture, you are running name node service here only, data node service here only, secondary name node service here only. Correct or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now there are, okay, some other ways also, guys. Okay. There are some other ways also. Okay. What are the some other ways? Okay. Now, can I use, okay, one JVM to run multiple programs? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Maybe no.
Okay. Okay. So now I can use, okay. So these JVMs, yeah, okay. You may say that, okay, sir, okay, you told it is not possible. Okay. But in some ways, okay, what we can do, we can try, okay, try to run some programs, okay, inside single JVM. It means, okay, every program will share a portion of single JVM. You understood? It means, okay, one way is that name node, data node, okay, secondary name node, okay, everything will be running inside the single JVM. You understand my point, guys? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand my point? Okay. So in this picture, every service, like a name node service, data node service, and secondary name node service, all these services are running in a single JVM. Okay. So it means the same 5 GB is used by all these people. But okay, this model is, okay, is effective way of using running your services.
No.
No, this is not effective way, because, okay, so tomorrow, okay, so the 5 GB has to be shared by multiple people. If one person is taking more, another person has to suffer. Correct or not? Okay. So this is one way. Okay. This is second way. Second way means, okay, so you have only one server. In that one server, you are running name node in a separate JVM, data node in separate JVM, secondary name node in separate JVM. Okay, this is second way. Okay. So the first way is called as standalone mode of installation. What is this called? So all Hadoop services run a single Java virtual machine on a single machine. Okay. So it means, okay, all services, okay, will run in a single machine. Okay. This model is called standalone mode of installation. Understood? This is standalone mode of installation. Okay. But okay, so here, how many machines are there, okay, in this installation? How many machines? And it means, like, how many laptops are there?
One.
Only one
Standalone
laptop.
one.
On one laptop, one JVM. Okay, in that one JVM, 3 services are running. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct or not? Okay, so it means, okay, so to run this one, okay, one laptop, okay, or okay, one server is sufficient. Correct or not?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, one laptop or one server is sufficient, okay, to install this model. Okay. Now second model. Okay, second model is called as, okay, pseudo installation, pseudo mode of installation. Pseudo mode of installation. Okay. When I say pseudo mode of installation, okay, you will have only one laptop or one server. Inside that one server, okay, So your name node will be running in a separate JVM, data node will be running in a separate JVM, and secondary name node will be running in a separate JVM. You understood? So okay, to install this model of Hadoop, this mode of Hadoop, okay, how many laptops or how many servers are required in real time?
One.
Only
sir.
one, only one. Okay, because okay, that okay, in one node, okay, one server, okay, you are installing entire Hadoop. Okay, here also you are using one node, okay, one JVM. Here, okay, one node, multiple JVMs. Understand, guys? Okay, but okay, when it comes to third mode of installation, it is like this. Okay, so this is okay, server one, okay, where you have 16 GB RAM. Okay, you have server 2, server 3, okay, and server 4. Okay, maybe server. Okay, so like the server 1. Okay, this is server 2. Okay, and this is server 3. Server 4. Okay, server 5. Okay, total 5 servers. Okay, so in each server, okay, definitely you will have OS, correct or not?
Yes.
OS will be running. Okay, so this is OS. Okay, this will take 3 GB, correct or not? Because without running OS, okay, can I run any other services?
No.
So OS is
No.
running here. Okay, so now, okay, so this place, okay, I'm using it like name node. Okay, understand? In this place, secondary name node. And now tell me, sir. Okay, so now this is like a entire Hadoop cluster. This is one cluster. Inside one cluster, how many servers are there? 5 servers are there. 5 servers. Okay, in server 1, okay, our server 1 I'm running name node service. Server 2 I'm making secondary name node. Server 3 data node 1. Server 4 data node 2. Server maybe server 5 data node 3. You understood, sir? Now, okay. So in this picture, okay, so what is this mode of installation? This is okay, fully distributed mode of installation. Okay, so how many servers are required here? Is it one server or multiple servers?
Multiple.
Okay, multiple servers. It is not 5 servers, sir. Okay, so multiple servers. Okay, so here, okay, I will say instead of server 5, I will say server n. Is it fine?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So here, okay, I will put. Okay, now you see. Okay, so can I say server 1 now? Server, okay, multiple servers. Okay, you will have one name node, one secondary name node, and multiple data nodes. That multiple data nodes can be anything actually based on requirement. Correct or not? Okay, so this is fully distributed mode of installation. Okay, this is what okay I'm telling here now. Standalone means all Hadoop services run in a single Java virtual machine on a single machine. Okay, so individual Hadoop services will run on individual JVMs, but on a single machine. Okay, so in standalone installation and pseudo installation, okay, if you have one laptop or one server, that is more than enough. You can install. But okay, if you say fully distribution mode, okay, Hadoop services runs in a different JVMs, but in a cluster. Cluster means okay, so all together, okay, in a group of machines. So all Hadoop services will run inside cluster. Okay, so and okay, even services also will run separately. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so now tell me in real time in which mode okay they install Hadoop? Standalone or sudo or okay, fully? In real time they install Hadoop on fully distributed mode. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, so they will not install on sudo mode standalone mode. Sudo mode standalone mode, okay, just for practice purpose. Okay, if anybody want to have only one node Hadoop cluster, okay, one node okay installed with Hadoop for practice, they can. But in real time they'll install on install in a fully distribution mode. Okay, it is not like okay standalone mode or sudo distribution mode. Are you clear on this?
Yes.
Okay, you're clear on this. Very good, sir. Okay. So now I will teach you only fully distribution mode, okay? Because okay, nobody will use okay sudo standalone or sudo mode, okay? When Hadoop came in 2010-11, okay, that time okay, some people installed Hadoop on okay standalone mode and practiced, but now nobody is installing Hadoop on standalone mode and okay sudo distribution mode. Only they are using fully distributed mode. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, 1 second. Give me a second. Yeah, guys, I'm back. Okay. So, are you clear on this installation modes or any
Yes, sir.
questions? Okay, very good, sir. Okay. So now, okay, what we need to okay, so okay, Hadoop is now we understood Hadoop can be installed in multiple nodes. Okay. Now the question is, okay, can I install Hadoop on Windows machine, Windows laptop?
Yes.
Okay, we can. Okay, so Hadoop is kind of a software which is designed to install and run only on Linux. Understand, guys? Okay, Hadoop is kind of a software where okay it is designed to run only on Linux machines, not on Windows machines. You cannot okay install okay like MS Office okay or okay, Notepad ++. Okay, there is no software like okay you can double click on it and you can click on next to install Hadoop. Hadoop is not kind of a software. Are you clear? Okay, so for this okay we need to install on Linux actually. Okay, so first of all, okay, so what is this Linux? Okay, so from where it has come? From where it has come? Okay, so first of all, okay, what is OS, guys? First of all,
Operating system.
what is operating system, guys? I should have asked my question in another way. Okay, what is operating system? First time itself. Okay, when I say what is OS, you said operating system. What is operating system?
Operating system is a kernel which will communicate between the hardware and the software.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Okay, so it is kind of a set of instruction. OS is kind of a set of instructions okay, which will communicate with your hardware and okay, make it work like okay, as per your requirement. Okay, so now what are the different OSs we have in market? What are the different OS operating systems available in market? So one commonly used okay is Windows OS, correct? Windows operating system. Okay, operating system. Okay, and okay, since we are using okay our smartphones and all, okay, we have something called Android operating system also. Huh? Sorry guys. Sorry. So Android operating system. What is this Android What is the Android operating system, guys?
Which will use on the mobile phones.
Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, I'm sorry. What is Android? It's kind of a OS which you are using in your smartphones, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so any other OSs, okay, any other operating systems we have in the market?
Mac OS.
AIX, Linux.
Okay, so Mac. Huh? Can I say Mac operating system? What is this Mac operating system?
For
It is
iOS.
Unix based operating.
Huh?
It is one of the Unix.
No. What is Mac OS? Where you will use it?
It
Uh,
is
it will be used
on
the
Apple devices.
Exactly, sir. Okay, so Mac OS, okay, you will be using on Apple devices. Okay, like okay, you have Apple.
iPhone.
Sorry, iPhone. Okay,
iPad.
maybe yeah, iPad. Okay, maybe Apple notebook. Okay, yeah, Apple laptops. Okay, so Apple itself is having okay separate operating system. Okay, for their customers. Okay, they will not use any other operating system. It has its own operating system. Okay, so apart from this one, okay, so we have something called Unix operating system. Okay, so what is this Unix operating system? So if you see this one, Windows operating system, okay, so does it have okay, so how do you use this in Windows operating system? Is it a UI based or okay GUI is there? Hmm?
Yes, sir. GUI based operating system.
Okay, so this is a GUI based operating system. GUI is available. Okay, but okay, I want to work on Windows in a command line. Can I work?
Yes.
Yes,
How?
we can.
CMD.
CMD, command prompt. Okay, command prompt. Okay, I'll show you, sir. Okay, let us take this scenario. Okay, how can you open okay command? So CMD, if you click on command, okay, now when you click on command, okay, what is the location? Okay, it has taken you. See, users Venkat Narasimha, user home directory. Okay, but if I open this one, okay, now I want to go to F directory. Okay, so I want to see what is there inside F directory. Okay, now since a Windows is kind of a UI based system, what I can do, I'll click on okay, Internet Explorer. I can directly go to, I can click on F drive and it is showing the content of this F drive. Okay, but can I do the same thing in command using command prompt?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I will say F colon. Okay, now I'm in F colon. F colon means okay, I'm in F drive. Okay, now if I type dir, okay, now it is showing the same thing. Okay, Hadoop administration output.txt, presto putty.txt, sample.txt. Is it correct or not?
Yes.
Correct or not, guys?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so everything is whatever I'm seeing here, okay, the same thing I'm seeing here. Okay, word count.jar. Okay, so like this, everything I'm seeing here. Okay, so you can use command line. Okay, you can use in a UI model also. Okay, so Windows is kind of a system where GUI is available. You can use in GUI way, and you have command prompt available. Okay, you can use in command prompt model also. Okay, and again Android. Again GUI based. Okay, again Mac, again GUI based. Okay, and you have command line also. Okay, but what about Unix?
Command based operating system.
Okay, so in case of Unix, okay, we don't have any GUI available. Okay, only command prompt. Understand? So if you want to operate Windows, even kids also can operate Windows, right?
Yes.
Okay, even kids also can operate Android, right? Okay, if you give Android phone to them, okay, they will okay. I feel okay, kids can use better than us our phone.
Yes.
Yes or no? Okay,
Right,
so
sir.
they'll open all
Generation.
Yeah. Okay, so they open all YouTube, okay, whatever they want. Okay, they'll open a car, they'll play online games. Okay, they use better than us, our mobile. Okay, because all these are coming up with GUI, graphical user interface. Okay, but when it comes to Unix, okay, it is only command line. If you want to use Unix, okay, you should know Unix commands. If you don't know Unix commands, you cannot use it. Okay, so but okay, if you see Windows and all, okay, even kids also can use. Okay, does any kid know that? Okay, let's say 2 years kid can know the technology and all. He doesn't know. Okay, he cannot write any commands, but he can still use Windows. Yes or no? He can still use Paint program. He can still use, okay, some YouTube. Okay, so it means, okay, so since GUI is available, okay, if you want to use that OS, okay, you no need to know the technology. Even if you're a normal user or a kid also, you can use that technology. Okay, but when it comes to Unix operating system, okay, it is completely command based. Okay, without knowing the commands, you cannot use this Unix operating system. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the reason, okay, many people say that, okay, Unix is so strong. Okay, if somebody want to crack this one, okay, they should be expert in Unix, then only they can crack Unix machines. Otherwise, okay, it is not at all possible to crack. Clear? Okay, so now, okay, so let us take, okay, this Unix operating system only. Okay, so Unix, and again, okay, this Unix is a open source software, open source OS. What even of open source OS? So for Windows, okay, do you need to pay?
License.
Yeah, license. Okay, for Windows, okay, you have license cost. Okay, for Android, okay, yes, okay, yeah, for Mac, yes, like it is licensed one. Okay, but when it comes to Unix, it is a completely open source. Okay, so here, okay, I can say it is licensed. It is open source. Okay, open source means completely free. You can just install on your machine and use it. Nobody will say anything, and you no need to pay any amount, any money for anyone. Okay, so now, okay, Unix is very strong system. Somebody thought that, okay, anyway, it is open source system, right? Okay, we can take the source code and all. Why can't we generate, okay, a UI on top of this one? Okay, or some companies thought that, okay, why can't you take this one and customize as per our requirement? Understand? Okay, so in that thought itself, okay, so they brought Linux here. Okay, so what is Linux? Okay, it is kind of customized. Okay, okay, so it is a customized version of Unix actually. Okay, it means, okay, I can say that, okay, if Unix is the father, Linux is the kid. Okay, it's a customized version of Unix actually. Okay, again in Linux, okay, there are two different type of Linuxes. Okay, there are two different type of Linuxes. Okay, what are the two different type of Linuxes? Okay, so here,
Ubuntu.
okay, I'll tell you, sir. Okay, so here, okay, there are two different type of Linuxes. What are those two different types? Okay, one is okay, okay,
Ubuntu.
RPM based. Okay, okay, what is this RPM, guys? Don't give me abbreviation, guys. Okay, Red Hat Packet Manager. Okay, so RPM. Okay, so what is this RPM?
To install the software based on the packages.
Okay, sir. Okay, in case of Windows, if you want to install some software, what kind of file you download? Okay, let's say you want to install VLC player. What you will download?
.exe.
VLC player.exe file you will download from internet, and okay, you will double click on it, and it'll take you like next, and okay, and you will install VLC player. Correct or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but okay, can I use, okay, .exe file in Linux also? Can I install same VLC player.exe in Linux?
No, sir.
Linux will not understand what is exe file. Okay, so Linux will understand only RPM file, .rpm file, .deb files. Understand? Okay, so now again, okay, here, okay, what are the companies we have? Yeah, under RPM based. Okay, under RPM based. Okay, again, okay, what are the companies we have? Okay, if you see RPM based companies, okay, so these are the RPM based companies. Okay, so Red Hat, CentOS. Have you ever heard of Red Hat?
Yes, sir.
Red Hat Linux. Okay, so Red Hat is a company. Okay, like okay, Microsoft Windows. Okay, Microsoft is a company. They are providing Windows OS. In the same way, Red Hat Linux. Okay, Red Hat is the company. They are providing Linux OS. Okay, CentOS. Yeah, guys. Okay. Okay, if you're not talking, please be on mute. Okay. CentOS. Okay. Again, this is another company which is okay, which is a subsidiary of Red Hat, guys. Okay. What do you mean of subsidiary of Red Hat?
Child company of
Child company of Red Hat. Child company of Red Hat. Okay. So I will see Red Hat and CentOS both are okay from same person, same company. Okay, but okay, they put it like a different name. Okay, like how you say okay, Hyundai and Kia. Okay, so Hyundai and Kia, okay, they are kind of okay. What is it? Relatives only, right? Okay, I will not say relatives. Okay, Hyundai subsidiary, kind of subsidiary
Franchise.
only. Yeah, franchise only. Okay, Kia. Okay, so but okay, they develop similar products. Okay, and okay, so they use say, similar car engines and all actually. Okay, so in the same way, okay, if you see Red Hat and CentOS, CentOS is a subsidiary of okay, our child company of Red Hat. And okay, if you see CentOS Linux and if you see Red Hat Linux, okay, CentOS Linux, Red Hat Linux, almost 95%. Okay, both are same. Understood. So working on Red Hat, working on CentOS, you will not feel any difference as a Hadoop admin. Commands 95% okay, OS commands are same. Only the names are different. Okay, it is Red Hat Linux. This is CentOS Linux. Only the names are different, but okay, the working commands and all same in both. Okay, then okay, you have Oracle company also. Okay, Oracle company also giving a Linux, Oracle Linux. Okay, and SUSE Linux and Fedora Linux. Okay, so these are different companies who are supplying Linux. Okay, with my small customizations actually. Okay, maybe okay, whatever commands okay we Oracle Linux we have. Okay, those commands, some of those commands may not be there in Red Hat Linux. Okay, whatever is there in Red Hat Linux, some of the commands okay, will not be there in the Oracle, but at end of the day, all are Linuxes only. Understand? Okay, so now okay, so these are RPM based Linux, and okay, next one is Debian based Linux. Okay, so we have something called Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint. Okay, so these are also different companies where they supply Debian based. Okay, so for RPM based Linux and okay, Debian based Linux, okay, the commands will be little bit different actually. Commands will be little bit different for these two. Okay, so now tell me, okay, when I have these many Linuxes in market, okay, on which Linux my Hadoop I can run my Hadoop? Hadoop is well designed. Okay, Hadoop is well designed to run on RPM based Linux. It doesn't mean that okay, it is not designed to run on Debian based. Okay, but okay, Hadoop can run on RPM based Linux. Hadoop can run on Debian based Linux. In both the Linuxes, Hadoop will run. Okay, both the Linuxes, Hadoop will run. Okay, but okay, in market, okay, so in market, if you see there are 100 Hadoop cluster, out of 100 Hadoop clusters, 90 to 95 Hadoop clusters running on either Red Hat or CentOS. Understand, sir? Okay, so of course, yes, okay, there are some clusters in the world running on Ubuntu also, but okay, the first preference for Hadoop cluster installation is Linux, okay, Red Hat Linux or CentOS Linux. Understand? Okay, so this grabbed majority of market share. Okay, so tomorrow in interview, I mean, people may ask, okay, so what kind of Linux, what Linux you are using? So you need to tell either Red Hat Linux or CentOS Linux. But there are some clusters okay, which are running on Oracle Linux, which are running on SUSE, which are running on Fedora, which are running on Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint also. But okay, Majority is running on Red Hat or CentOS. Okay. Now, okay. So Red Hat is giving the Linux actually, Linux OS, correct? Okay. Red Hat is the company. Red Hat is the company. So it is giving Red Hat Linux, correct or not? And okay, CentOS Linux. So they are giving Linux actually. Okay. So now again, these companies are giving, okay, giving like this actually. UI based Linux. Okay. Okay. Command line Linux.
Okay.
Understand? So these guys are giving, okay, UI based Linux and command based Linux. Okay. But okay, which Linux okay we use to install Hadoop? Understand? Which Linux we use? Okay. So these guys are giving GUI based Linux and command line based. Okay. So in real time, we use only command line based Linux. Understand? So tomorrow in the interview, somebody asked, okay, we are using Red Hat Linux or we are using CentOS Linux, command line Linux. Red Hat command line Linux we are using. CentOS command line Linux we are using. Understand? Don't tell that okay, we are using GUI based Linux. No, okay. So Hadoop should be a kind of a secured system. A Hadoop cluster is kind of a secured system. Okay, we should maintain a lot of security. So I don't want okay, even okay, normal kids or okay, normal users also should use okay Hadoop actually. So when somebody is controlling Hadoop means okay, he should be a technical person. Then only you should be able to control Hadoop. Otherwise, no. Okay. So that is the reason okay, we are saying that it is a command line based Linux. Okay. So we are using, okay, we are going to install Hadoop on a Linux machine. Okay. That Linux is command line Linux. Okay. But now, okay. So these two market share is 95%. Okay. Market share is there for these two. Correct or not? Okay. So now if I want to practice now, okay, as part of our class, okay, we need to set up a Hadoop cluster, right? Fully distributed Hadoop cluster we need to set up, correct or not?
Yes.
Okay. So when you want to set a fully distributed setup, okay, which OS you want to take out of these two? Okay. So here Red Hat is kind, okay, so here both are free only, guys. Both are open source only. Open source means, so this is also open, Red Hat also open source, CentOS also open source. In that case, you may tell, sir, okay, both are same, 95% same, both are open source. Okay, I will use Red Hat. Why not? Okay, I will use the CentOS. Why not? You can use anything. Okay, but okay, the problem with the Red Hat is, okay, you need to take, okay, a subscription for every installation. Understand? Okay, again, okay, this is free subscription only. Okay, so but okay, here no subscription at all. Understand? Here no subscription at all. Okay, so Red Hat also free, CentOS also free. Okay, so if you want to use Red Hat, you should have an account and okay, you should take a subscription from them. Okay, even though it is free, but it is a extra work, guys. You understand my point? Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so CentOS means okay, no subscription, nothing. Okay, can we use CentOS for our installations?
Yes.
Okay, so let us use Cent. Okay, so now, okay, to install Hadoop, okay, we decided with the OS now. Okay, to install Hadoop, okay, what is the plan now? Okay, where okay, OS, what is the OS we are going to take? Okay, we are going to take CentOS, okay, command line Linux. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay, CentOS command line Linux. It is not CentOS, okay, GUI based Linux. No. Clear? Okay. So this is fine. Okay. Now what next? What next? Now we need to install. We need to install Hadoop. Okay. How do you want to install Hadoop? Okay. How many nodes you want to install? So at least okay. So and okay, Hadoop installation. Hadoop should be installed on fully distributed mode. Fully distributed mode. Correct or not? Okay. When I say fully distributed mode, I need okay. So So okay. So I need, how many servers? Okay, to run. Okay, I need to run one name node. Okay, three data nodes. Three data nodes. Okay, then one secondary name node. Okay, one name node. Okay, three data nodes, one secondary name node. Okay, at least one edge node. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it means, okay, how many servers I require now? Okay,
Six.
one server. So here, okay, I need three data nodes, means three servers. Here, one server. Okay, here also one server. Okay, it means, okay, total how many I want? Total 6 servers I want. Total 6 servers I want. Okay, 6 servers are laptops I want. Understand? Okay, so now the question is that, okay, do you have, okay, if you want to practice Hadoop in a fully distribution mode, you need 6 servers or 6 laptops. Do you have so many laptops?
No.
No, right?
Yes.
What to do?
VMs.
What is VM?
Virtual machines.
What is virtual machine?
On top of Windows, we can install virtual machine to help. We can configure these servers.
Okay, sir. Okay, we'll do one thing. Okay, let's say when you're buying a laptop, what and all you will see, sir?
Which processor and RAM.
Okay, maybe processor. Okay, maybe processor. Okay, then what you will see?
RAM,
Okay,
motherboard.
RAM. Okay. So do you really look at motherboard?
No.
No.
Then
Storage.
Hard disk.
okay.
Disk.
Next. So we see network also. Okay, but okay, see, usually if you are buying a laptop, okay, for home purpose, you will not see it network. Okay, because you will be alone using. Okay, but okay, when it comes to office, okay, they will look at the network part also. Okay, understand? So when you are buying a laptop, okay, usually you will see these 4 things. Okay, so now let us take, okay, so let's can somebody tell me the configuration? Okay, let's say processor. Okay, so Intel Core i7 processor. Yes or no? Okay, RAM 16 GB RAM. Okay, hard disk. What is hard disk? Let's say, okay, let's say, okay, 500 GB. 500 GB. Okay, network. Okay, 100 MB, 1000 MB per second. Okay, so this is the laptop. Okay, so if you want to buy a laptop, okay, you may be looking at this configuration. Correct or not?
Yes.
You may be looking at this configuration. Okay, so now, okay, now if somebody purchase something like this, actually, this is also a laptop.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
This is also a laptop, right?
Yeah.
This is also a laptop. Okay, or okay, let's say, okay, is it a laptop?
I think it's a system, sir.
Yes.
Why not, sir? Why not? This is a laptop. So this is a laptop. Okay, this is a laptop in 19. Okay, no. Okay, so 95, 95 time. Okay, this is the laptop in 2000, between, okay, 2000 and 2000, maybe 5. Okay,
2000.
okay, maybe now, okay, this is the okay, so this is, okay, maybe 2000, okay, 10 to till now. Understand? Okay, now also people are using this. Okay, so it means, okay, see, when I say a laptop or a server, okay, it means okay, every laptop or every server will have one processor, okay, or okay, some one or more processors, RAM, okay, some RAM, some hard disk, some network. Correct or not? Correct or not, guys?
Correct.
Okay, so now what is this? Okay, core. Okay, what is this Pentium 4? What is this Core 2 Duo? And what is this Core i7?
Processor name.
Huh?
Processor name.
Processor name. Okay. So okay, so do you know that? Okay, right. Okay, so first okay, we have in market we have Pentium 4. Okay, then okay, Core 2 Duo. Okay, then okay, Core i3, Core i3, i5. Okay, i7. Okay. Now okay, in the market okay, we have i9 also. Okay. So what are these guys actually? Somebody asked me recently, sir, I have Core i3 processor. Is it fine? Or somebody asked, sir, I have i7, i5 processor. Is it fine for practice? Okay. First of all, I mean, you're asking me, sir, okay, is it sufficient? But what do you know about these processors? Hmm? What do you know about these processors?
This is a different
What is
models.
Pentium 4, sir? Do you know what is Pentium 4?
As per my knowledge, it's a models with a different cores. Like for example, if i3 has like 3 cores, the cores means in under cores there will be threads, so which can divide it into threads.
Sir,
So
first of all, okay, fine. Okay, we are saying okay, core, right? We're saying core. What is core, sir? What is core? First of all, what is processor? Why this processor is required in your laptop? Hmm?
To run the OS.
Sir, okay, not old batch students. Okay, I'm expecting answers from new batch students. Okay, I just want to understand. Okay, what is your understanding on processor? What is a processor? Why processor requires in your laptop? Why processors are required in your laptop?
To do computations.
Huh? Sir, let's say, okay, let us do one thing. Okay. Now, okay, there is something called calculator. Can you see my screen? Hmm? Calculator, okay. So, what is this calculator actually? It's a exe file, correct or not?
Yes,
Correct or not?
Yes,
Okay. So, where this calculator is located?
somewhere in C drive or some.
Hmm?
Windows 32.
Sorry?
In Windows programming.
No, sir. It will be in the Windows 32 folder. Since
Okay. So, this, what is the location of this calculator actually? Okay. Location means, okay, it will be somewhere in C drive. Okay. Okay. Windows. Okay. So, system 32. Okay. System 32. Okay. So, there is something called CALC. Can you see this one?
sir.
Huh? So, if I show you the extensions and all, okay. So, what is this one? Calculate is like a calc.exe, correct or not?
Yes.
So calculate is an exe file. Okay, where is this exe file now? Where is this calculator exe file?
In Windows System 32.
Okay, where is this Windows System 32?
C drive
Where is C drive?
in hard disk.
Hard disk.
Okay, so it means okay. Okay, let us take this scenario, sir. Okay, so let's say you have a laptop. Okay, when you have a laptop, okay, this laptop has a hard disk. This is the hard disk, sir. Hard disk. Okay, so now, okay, so this hard disk you divided into, let's say, C drive, okay, and D drive. Two drives you divide into. Okay, this is C drive and this is D drive. Clear? This is C drive and this is D drive. Okay, inside this one, okay, you installed OS, operating system. Yes or no? You installed, okay, Windows OS. Okay, when you install Windows OS, So what are the files will be copied? Okay, there are some files. Okay, let's say one of the file is calc.exe file also copied here. Yes or no? Okay, it means okay, now your calculator.exe file is available inside your hard disk. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now it is on your hard disk now. Are you clear, guys?
Yes.
Are you clear? Now your .exe file is on your hard disk first. Okay, now okay, so this is your hard disk. Now if you want to use this calculate.exe, okay, what you need to do now? You need to open this calculate.exe. Without opening, can you use your calculator?
No.
Okay, first, okay, you need to open it. Okay, now to open it, what you will do? You will click on this. Okay, maybe you will. Okay, so you will click on. Okay, you will click on, double click on, okay, this calc.exe file, correct or not? Okay, when you double click that exe file, what happened in the background? See, now exe file, calculator.exe file is available in the hard disk. Okay, now you double clicked on that exe file. What happened? Don't tell that, okay, it is showing a calculator here. We are all technical people, sir. Huh?
We passed like input to a processor to launch the application.
To launch an application. Okay, sir. Okay, here okay, you are saying calculator means, okay, so this is the hard disk, and okay, you have some RAM also, right?
Yes.
When I say laptop, okay, what and all you will have?
RAM, processor.
Okay,
disk.
so RAM. Okay, so all together, okay, what and all you will have? Okay, so this is the laptop, sir. This is your laptop or server. Laptop or server, whatever you call. Okay, so usually this laptop contains what? Okay, this laptop contains a processor. Okay, maybe let us take, okay, this is the processor. Processor. Okay, and this is the RAM. This is a RAM. Okay, so now now initially all your softwares are available inside your hard disk, correct or not? Including Windows. Okay, anything okay is available in your hard disk. Okay, now when you click on that hard disk, okay, or when you click on that program, what will happen? Okay, a processor, okay, what processor is doing? Processor is reading the exe file from hard disk and putting into memory. Understood, sir? Who is taking this one? Where it is putting? Processor is taking exe file, and okay, so and it is putting into memory. Who is putting?
Processor is putting.
Processor is putting that in the memory. Are you clear now? Are any questions? So when you double click on this one, okay, it means, okay, you are asking processor, hey processor, okay, so I want to use calculate.exe file. Can you open it for me? Okay, now what processor is doing? Okay, processor is reading this calculate.exe. Processor is contacting hard disk, and okay, from hard disk it is reading calculate.exe and it is putting into RAM. Okay, now okay, your calculate.exe is available inside RAM. Understood? Understood, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you are doing, okay, 6 into 10. Okay, what is the value you got? Okay, so now who is providing the input to this calculator? I am providing the input. User is providing this input. Okay, but okay, when I say 6 into 10, it is giving 60. Who is calculating this one?
The application calcs application.
End of the day. Okay, so end of the day, okay, who is running this calc application?
RAM.
Inside RAM. Okay, sir, RAM is a place, okay, to run your program.
Yeah.
Okay, RAM is kind of a, okay, sir, RAM is kind of a playground. Okay, process is like a player. Understand? Understand,
So
sir?
it is processing the data with the help of processor and it is showing in the RAM.
Exactly, sir. Okay, so when you load calculator.exe file, it is coming from so when you double click on calculator.exe file, so processor is taking calculator.exe software and putting into RAM. Okay, it means your program is ready to use now. Okay, see, your program is not ready to use when it is on hard disk. Understand? When it is on hard disk. Okay, now I opened PDF, sir. Okay, this PDF is open, right? Huh? Where is this PDF? The PDF is on hard disk. Yes or no? It is on the desktop. Desktop means where? It is on the hard disk. Okay, so training.pdf. Okay, this is the PDF. It is in the hard disk now. Okay, it is in the hard disk. Okay, maybe. Okay, so it is in D drive. It is in D drive. Okay, now if I want to see the if I want to use this PDF, so I need to double click on this PDF. When I double click on this PDF, okay, what core will do now, or what your processor will do? Processor will take a copy of this training.pdf and put it into RAM. Understood? So like this, okay, if you see, okay, right click on task manager and see, these are the programs. See calculator, okay, Adobe Acrobat PDF reader, okay, Excel also, Excel file is a file on hard disk. When you double click on it on that, okay, then Excel file will be loaded into RAM. Okay, so it means anything if you want to use, that should be available in RAM. Okay, without RAM, you cannot use that one. Okay, you cannot use any software when it is on hard disk. If you want to use that software, you need to bring that software from hard disk to RAM, then only you can use it. Are you clear? Are any questions?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now when it is in RAM, okay, whatever you do, okay, now, okay, I am scrolling this one. Okay, end of the day, who is helping me to scroll this PDF?
Processor.
Processor is helping me. Okay, I am typing 6 into 10, 60. Who is helping me to give the result? Processor. Okay, it means so now all these three are very, very important in your laptop. Will you agree with me?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me, Pentium 4, Core 2 Duo, i3, i5, i7, i9. Okay, what are these actually?
Processor.
These are processors actually. Okay, all these are processors. Okay, now, okay, when I say processor, inside processor, okay, we have something called core. Okay, so processor is a house. Okay, inside house we have core. This is the person actually. Core is the one who is doing this one. Okay, see, all this time I told like a processor, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so inside processor, okay, who is there? Core. Okay, core is the one who is taking care of, okay, bringing the exe file into RAM. Okay, and if you type 16 to 10, okay, giving the result, all those things are taken care by core. Understand? Okay, now tell me, how many cores will be available in the processor?
That depends upon the hardware. I mean, model of
okay,
the.
exactly, sir. Okay, so now, okay, suppose, okay, if I have only one core, okay, if I have only one core, okay, let's say if 10 people logged into this server, and okay, if all 10 people are doing 10 different things, everything has to be handled by single core itself, correct or not? Core will have a multitasking actually. Okay, so core will have multitasking, so it can do multiple things parallelly, correct or not? Okay, so I have 10, okay, one core, and okay, 10 people logged into this server, and okay, everybody is running their program. One person is opening a PDF, one person is opening Excel, one person is opening calculator, one person is opening some other thing. Okay, understand? One person is running Java program, one person is running Hadoop program, one person is running some other program, C program. So end of the day, anybody run any program in this laptop or server, that should be taken care by one core. Okay, so now tell me, okay, if 10 people are there, all 10 people work is taken care by one core, correct or not? Correct or not?
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow, okay, let's say 100 people logged into this server. Okay, 100 people are giving 100 works. Then okay, how many people has to handle that 100 people? Have to handle that 100 works.
One.
One core only.
Two
Correct or not? Correct or not, guys?
Yes.
Okay, it means okay. So if too many people are using this, okay, using this single core, then one fine days the single core may become slow. Yes or no?
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Sir, okay, if your manager say that okay, you do one work, okay, then you will do it fast. Okay, if manager says that okay, okay, if 100 people, 100 managers came to you and okay, say I want this work to done to be done, I want this work to be done, okay, then okay, you will become slow. You don't know what which work should be done first. Correct or not?
Yes.
So working on one thing at a time, okay, working on 10 things at a time, okay, definitely you'll have some difference or not?
Yes.
Definitely there is a difference. Okay, definitely there is a difference. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, what they thought initially, okay, when they released the Pentium 4 model, it is like a one core processor. Understand, sir? One core processor. Okay, what is this core 2DO? It is 2-core processor. What do you mean of 2-core processors? Now in the processor, okay, I have 2 cores. Okay, so now I have 2 cores. Okay, now tell me, if 100 people came, then what will happen?
Divided 50.
Both will share the work. Okay, so 50 will be taken by one core and 50 will be taken by other core. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, but okay, what in case if 1000 people came at a time? Again load, right? Yes or no?
500, 500.
Yep, that's right.
Again 500. Okay, 500 is huge actually. Okay, let's say one core can take care of, okay, let's say 50. Okay, if there are 100, then fine, both will take 50. Okay, but okay, if there are 200, then okay, 200 means 100 and 100. Okay, 100 and 100 means like extra load. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the reason, okay, they thought that okay, fine. Okay, so let's not let us improve this processor part. Okay, so since more people are using, okay, laptops or servers, okay, so we want to increase this process. So they come up with the concept of, okay, then they release Core i3. What is Core i3, guys? Core i3 also, okay, it's a 2-core processor with hyper threading enabled. Okay, what is this hyper threading, guys?
Multiple. One
So it
core
means,
will
okay,
do multiple.
exactly, sir. Okay, so in processor, okay, a processor, okay, you have only 2 cores. Okay, but each core will play a dual role. Understand? So as an end user, you will feel that, okay, you have 4 cores. You got it, sir? Or any questions?
You mean to say logical processor?
Sir, okay, see, processor is a chip actually. Inside chip, okay, you have cores. Understand? Okay, so one core will act like one person actually. Okay, but okay, if hyper threading concept is enabled for a core, then one physical core will act like 2 logical cores or 2 virtual cores. Understand? So it means, okay, one physical core will play a role of two logical cores. Okay, so now, okay, if you see this one, if you see, okay, if you right click on Core i3 processor and see, it will show you that, okay, I have, okay, total 4 processors. It means, okay, one physical core, okay, understand? Okay, so this is 2 physical core processor. Okay, so here
Sir,
2 physical
Venkat,
core
sir.
processor. Yeah, sir, tell me, sir.
Sir, sorry for the disturbance.
Hmm.
Sir, just now we got power my native due to rain issue.
Okay,
Sir, I missed 1 hour class.
okay, don't worry, sir. Okay, I'll give you the recording. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Okay. So core i3. What is core i3? It is a dual core, 2 physical cores. Okay. Processor with hyper-threading enabled. It means, okay, so it has 4, okay, virtual core processor. Understand? What do you mean of HTE, hyper-threading enabled? STE enabled means if you have 2 physical cores, that will show like 4. Okay, 2 physical
Virtual
cores means 4 virtual or logical. Okay, so this is like a, take it like logical cores. Understand? Understand, sir? Okay, it means a core i3 means, okay, you have 2 physical cores. Okay, and okay, the 2 physical cores will act like 4 logical cores. Okay, think that, okay, you have 4 cores in your system. If you have core i3 in your laptop, okay, so these 4 will share the work. Understand? These 4 will share the work. Okay, let's say if each core can take care of 50, so if all 4 work together at the same time, how many they can take care? 200. Yes or no? So okay, if one core can manage 50 people, okay, I have 4 logical cores. 4 logical cores means 4 separate logical cores, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how many people they can manage? 200 people.
200.
If one logical core can manage 50 people, okay, if I have 4 like that, if I have 4 logical cores, then
200 people.
200 people. Okay, so you understood, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what is i5, sir?
4 physical core.
Huh?
4 physical core.
Okay, so this is 4 physical cores, but no HTE, no hyper-threading enabled. It means, okay, it has only physical cores. Now tell me, physical core is faster or a logical core is faster?
Physical core.
Physical core is always faster. So, okay, so it means, okay, the same physical, okay, see, what is logical core? If physical core is divided into 2 people, then it is two logical core, correct or not? Yes or
Yeah.
no, sir? Okay,
Yes.
so that is the reason. Okay, see, in case of core i5, if you see, you have 4 cores, and okay, in case of core i3 also you have 4 cores. Okay, but there 4 logical cores, here 4 physical cores. Understand? Okay, so 4 logical cores are faster, or okay, 4 physical cores are faster?
4 physical.
4 physical cores are faster. That is the reason core i5 is faster than core i3. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now what is core i7?
6
Hmm?
physical.
Hmm?
6 physical core processor.
What is this, sir? Core i7?
4 physical. Yes,
4
4
physical core threads and 8 logical.
8 logical cores. Okay, now if I have core i7, how many people I can handle parallelly? If one logical core can handle 50 people, okay, how many logical cores I have?
8.
How many people I can handle parallelly?
400.
400 people. Yes or no? So it means, okay, number of cores are increasing means I'm able to handle number of more people also, correct?
Correct.
I'm able to handle more people also. Okay, so if you have more number of cores, okay, you can handle more number of requests. Will you agree with me?
Yes.
Huh? If you have more number of cores, it means, okay, you can handle more number of requests. Okay, now what is core i9? No HTE. Now i9 is faster or i7 is faster?
I9.
9.
i9 is faster. Okay, so now are these the only model or any other models are there in the market? So these are all laptop processors. Yes or no? Okay, but okay, what in case if I go with the high-end server, like, okay, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, up to 20 lakh rupees laptop server is there today in market? Huh? So like this, okay, we have, okay, 6 physical core processors, Okay, and okay, 6 physical core processors with HTA. What is this HTA? So then in this case, okay, how many cores it will come? 12 logical cores. 12 logical core processor. Yes or no? PCP means okay, physical core processor. Okay, LCP means logical core processor. Okay, 6 PCP with HTE means what does it mean?
Into
Six
2.
physical servers.
Okay,
12
into 2.
logical.
Yeah, 12 logical. Okay, now okay, is it this one? Okay, so now okay, 8 PCP is there. 8 PCP with HTE is available. Then okay, how many cores you have here with HTE? 16 LCP. Okay, now after that you have okay 12 PCP. Okay, 12 PCP with HTE. Then how many you have?
24.
Okay, now you have 16 PCP. Okay, and 16 PCP with HTE. Then
32.
32
LCP.
LCP, logical core processors. Yes or no? Okay. Now, if one logical core can take care of 50, 32 logical cores, 32 into 50. Okay, 32 into 50, 1600 requests at a time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so like this. Okay, so now you have 24 okay PCP and 24 PCP with HTE also. Okay, then okay 24 means 48 LCP. Yes or no? Okay, like this you have 32 PCP and 32 PCP with HTE. Okay, then 64 LCP. Okay, then okay 40 PCP. Okay, 40 PCP with HTE. Okay, so 80 LCP. Okay, now 60 PCP. Okay, and 80 PCP. Okay, so and 100 PCP. Understood? So these are the different processors you will get in the market now. Understand? Okay, now if you go with the 100 PCP physical cores server processor, okay, that server will cost you nearly 20 lakh rupees. Understand? You will not get okay in SP Road or okay, some computer shops and all these servers. You should order okay to the order the company. Okay, so who are the companies okay develop this or produce this servers? Maybe Dell, HP, Cisco. You need to contact those people. They will only provide these servers. Understand? Okay, but if you have 100 cores means it can handle 5,000 requests at a time. Yes or no? Yes or no, sir? Okay, sir. Okay, in which scenario there will be 5,000 requests at a time, sir? Can somebody give me some examples? Have you ever seen that? Okay, 2,000 people trying to do something at the same time on computer.
Yes, IRCTC is
Huh? Guys, please be on mute. Okay. Yeah, have you ever seen okay 2,000 people doing same thing on the system, connecting to the same system?
During research.
Huh?
During research.
Share market, sir.
Let us take okay commonly known examples, sir. IRCTC. Somebody gave this example. Okay, what is this IRCTC, sir?
Ticket booking.
Railway ticket
Railway
booking.
ticket booking. Okay, so let's say it is a Tatkal time. Okay, daily morning 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock they open the Tatkal, right? Huh? So now how many people will log in and try to book their tickets? But everybody is logging into the same application or not?
Yes.
Same irctc.co.in.
Yes.
Okay, so it means okay, just imagine 2,000 people are okay are logging in and 2,000 people are booking ticket. Is it only 2,000 or more than that?
More than
More than that. Sir.
More than that. Okay, if everybody try to book a ticket, what will happen?
System will hang.
System will go to hang. Okay, let's say, do you know what is the capacity of okay, these IRCTC servers? Server capacity initially it means around 2 years back. Okay, so it was able to book 400 tickets per second. Understand? Per second. Okay. Now they told that they improved this capacity. Actually, they are telling now that okay, we are using super duper high end servers for IRCTC. Okay. Now, do you know what is that super duper okay high end servers? Okay, can manage 2000 tickets per second. You understood?
Yes.
So if okay, more than 2000 people try to book the ticket, what will happen?
Waiting.
For them, okay, it will say,
Scroll.
is it like waiting or okay, it will like session expired or okay, page cannot be displayed. Okay.
Loading.
Loading. Okay. Some issues, this kind of issues will come actually. You understood?
Yes.
You understood, sir? Okay.
Yes.
So it means okay, 2000 tickets, okay, means okay. Do you think that okay, these kind of servers, these kind of machines are processors are sufficient for them?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay, when they say high end, okay, these are the high ends actually. Okay, I mean, as per my understanding, they are using around 40 core server. This is the one they are using. That is the reason okay, nearly they are able to manage this show. Okay, what in case tomorrow if the utilization is increased more and more, then
Then higher processor.
they have to go for higher processor. One find okay. Okay, let's say in market okay, we are getting only 100 core processor. Okay, if the requirement is beyond 100 core processor, difficult, right?
Yes.
Difficult to get. Okay, but as of now, okay, so we are able to manage the show with the existing this one. And okay, if it is unable to manage, okay, so some people will get page cannot be displayed and they will retry after some time. Okay, maybe they'll try to book the ticket again and again. Then one fine time it will become successful if the seats are available. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it means okay, the more cores you have, okay, the more efficiency you will have. Will you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, so now you decide okay how many cores you want, how many cores okay you have in your laptop. Okay, so you can right click and see okay how many cores you have in your laptop actually. Okay, fine. Now okay, let's do one thing. Let's take okay my system configuration. Okay, how can I see what is my system configuration? I mean, how many cores I have, how much RAM I have. Okay, so now right click on task, right click on this one taskbar, I can click on task manager and just go to performance and just click on CPU. Okay, so how many cores I have, guys? Can somebody see?
8, sir.
8.
8 physical cores. How many logical cores I have?
16.
16 logical cores I have. Okay, so it means okay, I have this laptop now. Okay, so this is my laptop. Okay, so now okay, so how many cores I have? Okay, I have 16 cores. How much RAM I have? How much RAM? Click on memory. Okay, what is the total RAM available? No, total RAM means okay, so what is the total RAM in my laptop? 64 GB is the RAM. 64 GB RAM. Okay, cores. Okay, then okay, RAM in GB. And okay, when it comes to hard disk, I have 1 TB. Okay, 1024. Okay, GB. 1 TB means how much? It's not 1024. Okay, so around 900 GB free space is available. Okay, in that 900. Okay, so in that 900, okay, 250 GB I have given for OS. Okay, so remaining is let's say around 600 GB is available for me, sir. 600 GB. Okay, now okay, so network. If you see my network, okay, my network is 1000 MB per second. This is the network what I have. Okay, so this is the laptop what I have, sir. Will you agree with me?
Yes.
So whatever the laptop I'm using to teach this one, okay, this is the configuration of the laptop. I have 16 cores. Okay, 16 cores, 64 GB RAM, 600 GB free space, and network is 1000 MB per second. Okay, this is the laptop. Okay, now this is total availability. Okay, so how much it will use for OS? To run OS. Okay, what is required? Hmm? So to run OS, okay, so one logical core is sufficient to run my OS. Understand, sir? One core is sufficient to run my OS. Okay, but how much RAM is required? 3 GB RAM is required. 3 means 3 GB. Understand? Okay, 3 GB is RAM is required. Okay, how much hard disk? Okay, let's say I have 900 GB hard disk. In that, okay, 300 GB I have given for OS. Okay, 300 GB. Okay, network. Okay, so if I connect to internet, okay, it will take, otherwise no. Let's say 100 MB per second is more than enough. 100 MB is okay. So I have 1000 MB, right? That 1000 MB. Okay, so now, okay, to run my Windows on this machine, to run my Windows, okay, I require one core and 3 GB RAM and 300 GB of hard disk and 100 GB of what to say? Sorry, 100 MB per second of speed. Okay, this is what I require, sir. If I run only my laptop without any program, this is the this it will take. Okay, what is free now? What is free? How many cores are free? 15 cores are free. Okay, how much RAM is free? 61 GB is free. How much hard disk is free? 600 GB. How much network is free? 900 MB per second. Okay, so these are the free resources now. Okay, now what I will do, these free resources, what I will do, there are some softwares, guys. There are some softwares. Okay, software. Okay, so one of the software is VMware. Okay, and Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so these are the two commonly used softwares. Okay, softwares. So what these softwares will do? Okay, these softwares are using these softwares, I can create a machine on top of my base machine. Okay, on top of my Windows. Okay, so now to run Hadoop, what I require, I require minimum of one core to run Hadoop. I require or this is the requirement. I require minimum one core is required. And RAM 2 GB is required. Minimum 2 GB is required. Hard disk nearly 30 GB is required. This is 100 MB, 100 is required. Understand, guys? This is the requirement to run. So what I will do, using Oracle VirtualBox software, I will create a machine with this configuration. Yes or no?
Yes.
What is the configuration here? One core, 2 GB RAM. So from where this one core, 2 GB, 30 GB, 100 Mbps, from where I'm using?
In your laptop.
From your laptop only. Your laptop free resources, with the help of laptop free resources, I'm creating another machine on top of your Windows machine. This is called virtual machine. Now I created one virtual machine. Understand? Now tomorrow, let's say this virtual machine will run on top of your Windows, correct or not?
Yes.
Now inside this virtual machine, I will install Linux. Understood?
Yes.
So do you need to install do you need to let's say you have a laptop, it is already with Windows. Can I use that laptop to practice? Yes, you can use, sir. You don't need to format the Windows and install Linux. So this is Windows, actually. This is Windows. On top of Windows, you are installing a software. With this software, you are creating a virtual machine. Inside this virtual machine, you are
Installing Linux.
So now if I do this one, what is left out here? Still I have 14 cores, correct or not?
Yes.
Like this. So here in this machine, I'll run name node. Is it fine? Name node I will run. Sir, you understood? I install Hadoop. I install Linux in this machine. I install Hadoop also in this machine, and I start the name node here. Now I will take VM2. Again, I am taking VM2. Same configuration. I'll run secondary name node. I'll take VM3. Okay, VM3. I will run, okay, data node 1. Okay, now I'll take VM4. Okay, now I will run data node 2 here. Okay, I'll take VM5. Okay, and I will take data node 3. Okay, I will take VM6. Okay, I will run edge node. Understand, sir? Now, even after using these many, okay, how many are left out, sir? Free. Okay, this equal to this minus sum of. See, after using this also, still 9 cores are free for me. Correct or not? Okay, still 49 GB is free. Okay, still, okay, 420 GB of hard disk is free. Okay, still, okay, 300 MB per second network is free. Understand? Okay, this will not be like a 300 MB. Okay, around like 50 MB, sir. That's it. Okay, not more than that. So, okay, after doing this one also, I still have a lot of free resources. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no, sir? Okay, so now, okay, what I can do, okay, instead of 1 core, can I make it 2 cores in each machine? If I make it 2 cores also, okay, I mean, I still, okay, left out with some cores. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
instead of, okay, this GB, I'm putting 10 GB for each machine. Okay, still I have 1 GB left out. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and okay, here this is fine, this is fine. Okay, this one I will not touch. It means, okay, now I am creating a virtual machine of 2 cores, 10 GB RAM, 30 GB hard disk, and 50 MB per second network. Yes or no? Okay, so this is what I can do, because, okay, I have these many cores and this much RAM. Yes or no? Okay, but what in case, okay, if you have a laptop with 8 cores, okay, and okay, 16 GB RAM. Okay, can you go with this one? If you go with this model, 2 cores for each machine, okay, then, okay, it is like -5. Yes or no? Okay, so if you have, okay, only 8 cores, okay, then give 1 1 1. Okay, so here 2 GB RAM. Then, okay, it is like, okay, it is taking less, right? 3 GB is gone. Sorry, 13. Okay, here, okay, I'll put 2. Okay, so now, okay, if you have only 16 GB RAM and 8 cores and 16 GB RAM, then, okay, you have to put, okay, 1 core for each machine, okay, and 2 GB for each VM. Understand, sir? Okay, okay, I'll put, okay, one more calculation here. Okay, what in case if you have, okay, 32 GB? Okay, so you have 8 cores and 32 GB. Then, okay, what you can do, you can go with 4 GB RAM in each machine. Okay, understand? 4 GB RAM in each machine. Okay, so this is 8 cores, and, okay, so free is this one, right? This minus, sorry, this one minus this one, 7. Okay, so 1. Okay, understood. So if you have 8 cores and 32 GB RAM, then, okay, this is the VM size you can create. Okay, if you have 8 cores and 16 GB, okay, then this is the VM size, okay, you can create. Okay, but, okay, you have only 4 cores. Okay, you have only 4 cores. Then, okay, okay, shit. Okay, so if you have, okay, only 4, okay, this is the one, okay, which is for 32 GB. If you have 16 GB RAM, then, okay, you can go for only 2 GB VMs. Okay, but you have, okay, 4 cores and 16 GB RAM, then okay, you should go with 0.5. Understood? Even if you go with 0.5, okay, still okay, you are less of this one. Okay, so now tell me, if you have more cores and more RAM, okay, you can create big virtual machines, correct or not?
Yes.
Okay, you can create big virtual machine. Okay, if you have 32 GB RAM, you can create, okay, 1 core 4 GB RAM. The more RAM you have, more faster your performance, correct or not?
Yes.
Okay, so but you have only 8 cores 60 GB RAM, then this is the scenario. You have 4 cores and 16 GB RAM, this is the scenario. Okay, so sir, okay, minimum 16 GB RAM is required, because okay, 2 GB one machine is required, mandatory. Understand? Understand? Or any questions?
No.
Okay, so this is how, okay, you need to if you want to practice, okay, you understood, right? Okay, why I was telling, okay, at least you should have 16 GB RAM. If you don't have 16 GB RAM, okay, you cannot create, okay, suppose, okay, what in case if you have only 8 GB RAM, sir? Okay, then only you can create only 3 VMs. Even if you create, okay, 3 VMs also, it is extra memory required. Okay, so only 2 VMs you can create. What you will practice in 2 VMs? To build a cluster, at least, okay, you require 6 VMs, correct or not?
Yes. Yep.
Yes or no, guys? Okay, so if you have only 2 VMs, then okay, you will put only name node and secondary node. Where you will put data nodes, where you will put edge node. How will you practice? So 8 GB RAM, you cannot do anything, guys. At least you should have 16 GB RAM. Okay, and if the more and more RAM you have, this is the good thing actually. The more RAM you have, then okay, the bigger VMs you can create, and okay, you can use it. See, my virtual machine itself 2 core 10 GB RAM. Understand? It means, okay, so somebody told recently, sir, okay, I have Core i3 with 12 GB RAM, which is equivalent to this one. Yes or no?
Yes.
i3
Yes.
two cores and okay, 13 GB RAM, here 10 GB RAM. Okay, nearly same. It means your laptop equal to one virtual machine in my laptop. Understand? Your one laptop equal to one virtual machine in my laptop. One full laptop equal to. Okay, so it means, okay, I'm creating 6 means, okay, like your laptops, I have 6 laptops, correct or not? So here, okay, what I'm trying to say here, okay, you should have more RAM to practice. If you don't have more RAM to practice, then you cannot practice well. Are you clear? Are any questions?
So I have the laptop, but
Okay.
it's the hard disk. It only C drive is there. It's not partitioned.
Okay.
Can I use?
That's fine, sir. That's fine. You can use that. Not a problem.
Okay.
Not at all a problem. So any questions?
Okay.
So now what is the plan now? Okay, so come to the plan. Okay, what is the plan? Now I'm going to create, okay, what is the each server size? 6 servers I want. Okay, 6 servers. Okay, so here, okay, we don't have 6 servers or laptops, right? So 6 VMs I'm saying. Okay, what is the size of each VM now? Okay, minimum 1 core. Okay, minimum 2 GB RAM, minimum 30 GB hard disk, minimum 50 MB per second network. This is the minimum configuration required to install, okay, Linux OS and to install Hadoop. Are you clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah. So guys, okay, now time is 8:44. Even if I start like a Linux OS installation, that may take some time. Okay, that may take some time. Okay, so we will do one thing. Okay, so we will start this one actually. Okay, we'll do. Okay, so now how to install this one now. Okay, so now we understood that, okay, to install our virtual machine. Okay, to create a virtual machine, I require some software, right?
Yeah.
Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so guys, okay, maybe after this one, okay, I will upload these installation documents to you. Okay, you can download. I'll give you access to Google Drive. Okay, you can download from there. So now I'll give you one document. Okay, setting up your lab by Venkat. Okay, this is the document. Okay, which you require. Okay, and guys, okay, this document is created in MS Office 2016. If you have old MS Office, okay, like 2007 or MS Office 2010, okay, please upgrade to either 2013 or 2016. Upgrade your MS Office. Don't use old version of MS Office. Then these software documents, or installation documents may not work properly in the old version. Understood? You will see no spaces. Okay, everything is continuous text without any spaces. You will feel difficult actually. So the minimum requirement is you need to have 2016 MS Office. You can download from internet and you can install. Okay, but if anybody want to MS Office key, please contact me. I will give you one free key. Okay, understand? So download MS Office 2016 from internet and install it. Okay, at the end of the installation, it will ask you for the key. Okay, so I will give you the key to activate your product. Got it? Okay. So now setting up your lab. Okay, first, okay, to create virtual machines, we need some software. Okay, what is the software we require? What is the software require? Either I require VMware or Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so now let us download Oracle VirtualBox. If you want to download Oracle VirtualBox, you click on this location or click on this link. Okay, if you click on this link, this will take you to Windows or Chrome. Okay, so here you have something called Windows Host. Okay, you can click on Windows Host. Understand, guys? You can click on Windows Host. Okay, now what it is doing? It is downloading the VirtualBox software. Correct or not?
Yes.
Let it download. Okay, so it downloaded. Okay, so now it is in this download directory. Now, okay, I'm getting this into my directory. Okay, so you can copy. Okay, you can install from the itself. Okay, now I'm double clicking on this exe file. Okay, click on next, yes, install. Okay, during installation, okay, it may ask you, okay, like this. Okay, it will ask you, okay, do you want to install a driver? Okay, click on yes. Okay, very good. Okay, so it installed Oracle VM VirtualBox software. Finish. Okay, so now, okay, Oracle VirtualBox software is installed. So how can you see this one? Okay, so after installation, okay, one thing is that, okay, it will create a shortcut on your desktop. Okay, what is the shortcut it created? Oracle VM VirtualBox. Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now what I'm doing, right click on this one. Okay, pin to taskbar. Okay, now I'm pinning it to taskbar. It is there in my taskbar. Now I'll delete this one. Or, okay, if you want, okay, you can keep it on actually. Okay, so fine. Okay, now you click on this one. When you click on this one, okay, so you will see, okay, so now, okay, there are few things actually. Forget about this one. You will see, okay, this window. This is Oracle VirtualBox software. Understand, guys? So in this document, I have given each and every step clearly. Click on Windows Host, download Oracle VirtualBox for Windows, and double click on the download .exe file and install. Okay, so once installed, Okay, what you need to do? Change the settings in Oracle VirtualBox as below. Okay, what are the changes you need to do? Okay, click on, okay, open your hard disk. Okay, on your hard disk, select any drive except C. Okay, sir, okay, you asked, okay, I have only C drive. You have only C drive, right? Then, okay, ignore this step actually, if you have only C drive. Otherwise, okay, so in my scenario, I'm taking F drive. Okay, I'm taking F drive. Inside this one, I'm creating a directory. What is the directory I'm creating? VirtualBox VMs. This is what, okay, I created. Okay, right click and, okay, new and directory, a new folder. In that, okay, for that, okay, you give this name. Okay, after that, after that, okay, open, okay, Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, open Oracle VirtualBox from Windows Start button. Okay, so you can click on, so Oracle VirtualBox. You can click, you can check like this. Okay, you can double click on the window desktop icon. Or here also you can do. Okay, open Oracle Virtual VM Box. Okay, yes, open. Then click on File and Preferences. File and Preferences. Okay, and then go to General Default Machine folder. Okay, click on General Default Machine folder. Here you select the folder here actually. Okay, what is the folder? So this is the folder, F drive and VirtualBox VMs. Okay, select folder and click on OK. Understood? Okay, suppose, okay, if you don't change this path, what will happen? Okay, whenever you create a VM, the VM related files will be saved in the OS C drive. Understand? In the C drive. That is the reason, okay, we need to change it. Okay, better don't put anything in the C drive. But okay, if you have only C drive, nothing can be done. But okay, if you have C drive and D drive, better you put few things in the D drive or E drive. But don't put anything in the C drive. Okay, so here, okay, I selected F drive and, okay, I'm putting into this one. Okay, click on OK. Then, okay, next again, okay, click on File and Host Network Manager. File, Host Network Manager. Okay, so here, okay, here, okay, what you need to do? Okay, and make sure all your properties are showing as below. Okay, so what is as below? Okay, so please make sure the necessary changes and click on apply. Okay, suppose, okay, here, okay, what it is showing for me? File, Host Network Manager. So here how it is? Configure adapter manually. Okay, so what is the IP address you have? 192.168.156.1. Yes or no? Is it same? Huh? Then, okay, IPv4 network mask 255.212.0. Okay, and okay, this one is this one IPv4 address. Whatever you are seeing in the boxes, all those things, okay, you check. Okay, DHCP enable. Okay, whether it is clicked or not, enable. Okay, okay, if it is not like that, okay, then, okay, you change it and click on apply. Okay, now, okay, for me everything came automatically, so I'm not doing any changes and I'm clicking on close. Okay, then the second thing is that, okay, now Oracle VirtualBox software is installed and, okay, you made the required changes also. Okay, so next one, okay, download CentOS image. What is the CentOS image? You click on, okay, OS. Okay, this is the OS location, guys. Okay, you click on this location. Okay, and you search for a file. Okay, this file. Okay, this is the file. Okay, you download this one. What is the size of this file? 863 MB. Okay, so which I already downloaded, guys. Okay, so I'm not going to download now. So I already downloaded. Okay, so somewhere, okay, I put it here. Okay, this is the file, okay, which I 863 MB, which I downloaded. Okay, for you, you have to download from internet. Okay, understand? Understand, guys? Okay, this is install and download putty.exe. Okay, so you need to go to putty.org. These are the prerequisites, guys. Okay, and somewhere, okay, you can see download putty. This is the place, and click here. Okay, now it will download. So when you click on this one, okay, it will click on this one. Okay, so now click here and then, okay, so what to select here? Okay, select Okay, select this one. Okay. Okay, select this one, putty.exe file. Clear? Clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Click here. Okay, then you select a 64-bit x86 putty.exe. Okay, if you click on this one, then it will. Okay, if you click on this one, it will download putty.exe file. Okay, now putty.exe file is downloaded. Correct or not?
Yes.
Okay, so now show all. Okay, you can put, okay, where you can put this putty.exe file wherever you want. Clear? Clear? Or any questions?
Clear, sir.
Yeah.
So okay, so now, okay, what and all you have downloaded? Okay, you installed. Sorry.
VirtualBox.
Okay, you installed Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, and okay, you downloaded Oracle VirtualBox software and installed, and okay, made the changes in the Oracle VirtualBox. Then okay, you downloaded. Okay, you made the changes. Okay, for the network manager, and then okay, you downloaded the CentOS Linux software OS. Okay, then okay, you downloaded the putty.exe file. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now, okay, what next? So we'll continue from second step tomorrow. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, that's
continue.
okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we'll continue the next step tomorrow. Clear? Okay, so I will upload, okay, all these documents to you. Okay, so you will receive a mail from vnrtrainings@gmail.com. Okay, so there I'll give you the access to this one, and okay, you download softwares there only. Okay, from there. Software means, okay, only the installation document. Whatever document, okay, I'm showing you here, I will use the same document. I will give you the same document so that okay, you can also
Down.
use it and practice it. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all I have for today, guys. Okay, see you all tomorrow.